record. And it looks like it's just about to go live. There, I think it just posted. Hopefully it did. If not, we'll have a recording and it'll have all that extra in it for us. Good afternoon. My name is Kelsey and welcome to Tech Talks. I am the Director of Programs here at the Community Foundation for Ocala, Marion County, Florida. And we're so excited for you to join us today as we discuss board management software. Joining us is Martha from Passageways, where you'll be telling us about the OnBoard platform. And I'm so excited for you to tell us more because I know that there's a lot of free promotions right now happening through August 31st. And I can't wait for you to tell us all about that. So Martha, my last little bit of input is that if you have any questions at any point in time, please put your questions in the comments on Facebook, and I will make sure that those questions get brought back into the Zoom where Martha can answer those live before we disconnect today. So all I have to share. Take it away.
That's great. Thanks so much, Kelsey. Really appreciate it. And thanks for everyone for inviting us here today. I'm Martha Freeman. I look after nonprofits with OnBoard, board management and governance solution. And what I thought I would do today is to share a few, some details about OnBoard via slides, and then I'm going to jump right into the solution. So, OnBoard is a board and committee management solution. It is accessible on any device. And right now, as Kelsey mentioned, we do have an offer for all nonprofits to utilize our solution through the end of August at no charge. We will have some preferred pricing that we will be putting together, and we'll communicate that through Kelsey as well. So if you're like most of the organizations that we work with, you have a number of disparate solutions that you're utilizing. A virtual meeting client, whether that's Zoom or GoToMeeting or WebEx, approvals, solutions for voting, surveys like SurveyMonkey or Gizmo, Doodle polls, DocuSign for signatures and other governance items, and then a document repository somewhere. So OnBoard is a one-stop shop solution that helps to eliminate those silos and those disparate solutions. So everything is under one hood. We do take the place of even things like Teams and Messenger and texting with our in-app messaging capability as well. We have, our solution really helps a number of different individuals by role. So it certainly helps the admins to decrease the amount of time that it takes to help put the board materials together. In fact, we have a number of those who have told us, quantified it. In this case, we've been able to decrease a significant amount of time. We are also there for executives and management at your organization. So they're able to utilize this to communicate with their board and with one another. They're able to utilize this to deliver very important board materials, as well as ensure that all of the governance items are taken care of. And then you're also serving your board member. You're serving them by delivering this information in an electronic format. So it's easy for them to access, easy for them to use. If they need to complete a survey or sign documents, they can do it on the fly on their mobile device. They can do it on their tablet as well as their laptop or desktop. So we really serve a number of different constituents with OnBoard. It is a very secure solution. So we know that how important it is for boards of any type and size to ensure that their board documents and their board materials are secure. There's frequently compensation information in there. With nonprofits, you've got donor information frequently included. So it's important to have a solution where you don't have to worry about security. Azure, Microsoft Azure is who hosts OnBoard. We're in good company. Other organizations like IBM and Adobe and even the CDC utilize Azure. Some other security features, if you have a board member that has, or an executive that has lost a device, if we can do a remote wipe. Additionally, your board members can log in with Touch ID on their phone and tablet, as well as utilizing Face ID on their phone. And we have two-factor authentication for those organizations that require a higher level of security measures. We have on software evaluation sites, we have a lot of, we do have a lot of reviews. So whether that's G2 Crowd or Capterra, we are rated incredibly high, especially as it pertains to ease of use. I'm sorry, my screen seems to have a mind of its own today. And we're happy to share those details with you in more depth by sending over links to Kelsey with those reviews. And OnBoard is a modular solution, and what that means is you can buy the core functionality, which will enable you to create a book and send invitations out, set roles and permissions. And then we have suites that extend the capabilities of our solution. So we have our Collaborate suite, which allows the board to communicate with one another via our secured in-app messaging, as well as sharing annotations. We have our Governance suite, which allows for approvals and votes and polls and signatures and surveys. And finally, we have our Productivity suite, where we have our recently released task management capabilities, as well as very granular engagement analytics, which shows you how your boards are engaging with your product or with your board materials. So I am going to log out of here, and I'm going to open OnBoard and give you a look under the hood, if you will. So this is OnBoard. This is the dashboard that your board members and your leadership teams will see when they log in. There's some branding and messaging about each of your organizations in here. And I just want to share that these are completely separate solutions. We have a multi-tenant architecture, which means every organization has their own account. So it's a completely walled off garden, if you will. You also have announcements on your dashboard. And what's really nice about these announcements is that they can be tailored to a specific audience. So for example, if you have an audience that is you have a message that is just to go to the executive committee, in the admin view, you would actually be able to set permissions so only the executive committee would see that particular message. We are in the user view, so this is what the user experience looks like, or the end for the board member. Everything is completely configurable, so you will be able to move things around to suit the needs of your organization. And at the bottom, you'll see that I have a couple of different calendar invites on here. Your board members will only see those meetings to which they've been invited are appearing on their calendar. So I'm going to go over to the navigation bar on the left, the blue navigation bar. And as you can see right now, we are in the dashboard. As I click down, you can see that I'm now in the calendar. So that's a complete list of all of my upcoming meetings, as well as any past meetings. I don't happen to have any past meetings in this account. If I did, they would all be seen in there. So your board can easily go back and research old meetings to find materials and minutes that are important to them. So I'm going to click into the June board meeting here, and do want to point a few things out. You'll see a list of all of the attendees or the invitees to that meeting. You'll see that everybody can RSVP to the meeting, and most of us are attending remotely these days, so click on attending remotely, and then they can add that to their calendar so they don't miss a meeting. We have a native integration with Zoom, which is also a newer feature. I'm going to click on that, and as you can see in the bottom right corner, a Zoom window opens up. So your board members will actually be able to follow along in their instance of OnBoard and also follow what is going on in the meeting and watch the presenter at the same time. Just for our purposes today, I am going to minimize that so I can walk you through my board materials here. The first thing I'm going to do is click on Expand All. So you can see that there are a whole host of different source documents that can be utilized in OnBoard. But when I open the book, these are all consolidated into one single PDF. So regardless of whether you're utilizing Word, Excel, PDF, or PowerPoint, everything, once that book has been published, will be consolidated into one single PDF document. Your board members will be able to annotate the book, highlight specific areas, and then they will also be able to share those annotations with other members of their board. This helps for collaboration, to increase engagement and communications before, during, and after the meeting. So I'm going to go back to the meeting details and point out a few other things. Again, I am going to expand all again. In the agenda, which is up right now, you can see that I can incorporate surveys into my board book. So in this case, it's actually a poll on dates that are going to work for a board retreat that had to be rescheduled. And I can actually submit that survey, and if I determine that, or your board member determines that they are available on other dates, they can actually change or add those dates and resubmit the survey until it is closed. Something else that can be added directly into the agenda and the board materials are approvals, so or votes. So an approval, for example, of the prior month's meeting minutes can very easily cast a vote, and then if I choose to change that vote, I can very easily do that as well. A couple of other use cases that we're seeing today, because we've all moved to virtual meetings. Virtual meetings can be a bit challenging at times, very different than on-site meetings. Sometimes we have to be more concise. Shorter meetings, make sure that they're more productive and engage everyone. One of the use cases that we're hearing quite a bit from boards is that they're having those that are presenting at their meetings actually upload a video or an audio recording. So for example, the financial book, your CFO could very easily put their board materials together, do a recording, walking the board through that, so that the directors will be able to listen to or watch that material prior to the meeting. This is one more way that we see boards being more productive, again, before, during, and after the meeting. It also helps to eliminate a lot of programmatic updates at meetings, presentation after presentation. And so when the board gets to the meeting, they can actually spend that time focused on making decisions that impact their mission, really focusing on strategic initiatives. The other piece that I will point out here is our analytics. And our engagement analytics is, again, a relatively new feature of OnBoard. It tracks till the next meeting date. There's a countdown clock. It tracks the RSVPs. It shows how many meeting and book views there have been by role. And then it also shows the top sections that have been viewed and annotated in OnBoard. Why this is important is, for example, if their operations update had the highest number of views and annotations, that might inform or provide some additional information to your COO or the VP of Ops. They may want to reach out to the board and ask if there are specific questions about the operations update. Again, another way to get things done in advance of the meeting. The other piece of this is that the inverse is also true. So for example, perhaps there is a vote on a new technology solution, and as the VP of IT or CIO, I see that there is really no activity, no views, and no annotations in that area. Again, I could message the board making sure that they know to look at specific pages because there is an important upcoming vote. So those are a few of the features of the meeting and the calendar invite. If your organization does not use Zoom, you can also add any type of meeting, so GoToMeeting or WebEx or Teams, so that solution, those meeting clients could be used as well. The next piece that I'm going to go to is our actions or our governance suite. We've shared approval of minutes, the board retreat date survey, but you can put any kind of survey in here, create any kind of survey or poll. So if you want to do a board evaluation survey, that's very easy to do. If you want to do some other kind of survey or poll, very, very easy to set up. And the third piece of our governance suite is our e-signature doc, which eliminates the need for Adobe or DocuSign. So as I scroll down here, I will see a signature box or a box that requires my signature. I can actually save my signature so it's available the next time I want to sign a document. So that is our actions suite. The next piece is notifications. So your directors, anyone that is a user of OnBoard is going to receive notifications in several different ways. As you can see the little red dot there next to the notifications tab, they are notified in app or in the solution. They're also notified via push notifications to their phone and their tablet. And they're also receiving emails. So your board will be notified when there are changes to the book, when there are things that they need to take care of, approve, documents that they need to sign. So there's nothing will slip through the cracks. The next piece is the resource area. This is your document repository. So instead of using SharePoint or Dropbox or Box, everything can be stored right here in your OnBoard resource area. There is no limit to the number of folders that you can have. And in those folders, you can add documents, you can have videos and links and photos. You can even have subfolders, and those subfolders or these folders can be used for committee work. They can be a collection of meeting minutes or former board materials, whatever is most important to your specific organization. Another use case that I do like to point out is we are seeing a lot more boards today utilizing our solution for onboarding new directors. So they have all of the materials that are required in a file. Maybe there are videos, there are links to areas on your website that they need to attend to. And with the e-signatures, they can even sign their conflict of interest or code of ethics documents and make sure that they get right back into that folder. So again, no limitation on the number of resources, the folder structure. Because everything is permission-based in OnBoard, they are only going to see those folders to which they have received permission. As I drop down, I'm going to go into our directory. And you can see that these are all of the users that I have in my account. I'm going to click on Gilbert. All of your board members can have their contact information in here, some biographical information. as well as a list of any affiliated groups that they are a part of in OnBoard. When you're setting up your account for the first time, you can either add these users individually, or you can import a CSV file. So you always have a lot of options as you're doing things in the solution. You're also setting permissions, so you can determine if someone is an admin or a member, what that status looks like. I'm going to hop over to groups. It's very easy to create groups in OnBoard. And again, these can be your leadership team. We see a lot of organizations that are utilizing OnBoard not only for their board of directors and their committees, but they're also utilizing them for leadership meetings, staff meetings, while in most instances, many organizations are still working from home around the country. No limitation on the number of groups that you create. What I love about groups is that once you create them, it makes it very easy to delegate permissions at the group level to meetings and resources, actions like approvals and signatures. So I'm going to jump out of groups and I'm going to go into Messenger. Messenger is what replaces, can replace Teams, certainly texting, emails back and forth, and it's just one more way for your board members to be more collaborative and engaged before, during, and after the meeting. So if I want to create a conversation, I can create one with one individual, or I can create a conversation with an entire group. And only those members that are a part of it will see that message in their Messenger area. Organizations love this feature because all of the board work, obviously the book can be created, the agenda, the meeting, and all of the communications across the board, if you will, can be done in here. And our newest feature is our Task Manager. And Task Manager enables you to create tasks from an admin perspective, letting the CFO or your COO know that you are waiting for their materials. And it can also be done at the committee level for committee work. So operations committee, we can request that certain materials are due. We can set a due date on those materials, 3:30 on the 27th. We can add a description of what materials are needed specifically and perhaps why. We can also change the status. So right now it's new, but we can also note this as being in progress or having been completed. And then we can assign various members. So I can assign this to one or a couple of different individuals, and then I can link it to a specific meeting. So I can plug in the June board meeting here. Once I save and close this, it will appear on my task list as having been assigned to others. And once they complete it, they can either go back in and rename it or remark it as completed, or they can click on here, and that shows me that it has been completed. And I can go into those completed tasks and see that that has already been completed. And the final piece that I want to share is we have a whole host of resources that are available both from an admin perspective as well as for a board member. Because we are in the board view or the end user view, all of the items in our help center are really specific to the board members, very simple walkthroughs of OnBoard. And the admin view is going to have a lot of additional details on how to get things done, whether that's creating a meeting or creating a document for signature or an approval. And I guess the final piece is profiles and settings. I'll cover that really quickly. As admins, you will be able to pre-populate a lot of this information for your board. However, of course, you won't be able to add their signature or their initials. They'll need to do that themselves. But they are able to do things like changing their ID, removing SMS if they choose to do that. If they want to require two-factor authentication for themselves, they can do that right here. And in their profile, they can set up that kind of biographical data as well as contact information. So that is my walkthrough of OnBoard. Kelsey, I'll open it up and see if there are any questions that have come in from the chat or from Facebook.
I have not seen any come in through our Facebook comments. I'm double checking both of them right now, but it appears that we are still both silent on the front here. I've got a couple people watching, but still no questions. So if you've got anything else we can cover, this has been so awesome. I'm loving this platform. I love how collaborative you can be in the moment with everyone.
And I think there was a question from Lauren. Lauren, I will be working with Kelsey on preferred pricing. We do that when we're working with partners like your organization, TechSoup, BoardSource, ASAE. So we'll put those together and get those to Kelsey.
Very cool. Well, I have not gotten any other questions on this end. So.
And it looks like we just had the one on chat.
Yes.
And I think Dylan has posted something, or you'll be posting it to Facebook.
Yes.
If there are, yes.
And
for those that are interested in OnBoard. Okay,
yes.
Great.
Commenting that now on both videos as soon as this window responds. And do we have any training webinars that we can share with our board members as we get them used to this product?
That's a great question. We do things in a couple of different ways. Right now, during this free period, we have a lot of boards that are self-implementing, although we do have a formal implementation process. If you go through our formal implementation process, we actually help you to get your account set up, although it is very easy. We do admin training. We make sure we understand what all of the objectives are for utilizing OnBoard. And then we wrap things up with board training and make sure that we get you through at least a couple of your meetings. If you're not going through our formal implementation, we have a whole host of resources, including the help tab over here on the left, and then we have a lot of different videos that are available and resources for the board on our site directly. And Lauren, thank you for your question. We do have a lot of boards that have more seasoned board members that may require a little more training. So we work with a full gamut.
That's wonderful. Okay.
So I think if there are no other questions, we hope that you will take the time to fill it. Yeah.
Sorry, go right ahead.
I was just going to say, for those that are interested, I know Lauren has posted a form on the Facebook, on this group in Facebook. Feel free to complete it. We can get you set up with your free instance of OnBoard. And you can begin to utilize it for your leadership, for your committees, as well as for the full board meeting.
That is wonderful. I am just so grateful to have you here, Martha. This has been so wonderful, and I've enjoyed so much getting a peek into the OnBoard software. We're just so wonderfully glad that you shared with us today, and I'm looking forward to connecting you with all of our members who are going to reach out.
Great, and just as a final reminder, we do have OnBoard available to nonprofits who are members of your organization through the end of August. So that gives you a good 2.5 months to utilize it and make a decision at that time as to how you want to move forward with it. So we hope to hear from you.
Yes, thank you so, so much, Martha. I really appreciate you and your whole team. And I hope everyone has an awesome Tuesday afternoon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kelsey. Bye-bye.
Bye.